This is going to be the most comprehensive step-by-step tutorial on how to host n8n on DigitalOcean, meaning that now you can essentially locally host your n8n on a cloud provider like DigitalOcean. I'm going to walk through step by step on how to create your droplet on DigitalOcean, to also buying a domain name, all the way to creating your own DNS records. I'm not going to skip any details, so that way if you're an absolute beginner, or even if you've tried this a couple of times and it hasn't worked, this tutorial is going to be incredibly useful to you. Again, I'm making this statement that this is going to be the best step-by-step tutorial, and by the end of the video, if you're not satisfied, you'll let me know in the comments if this claim is in fact true or not. If this is your first time, my name is Zubair. Me and my channel AI Workshop and my school is all about building incredible automations and amazing AI agents using no-code tools like n8n. And also in our community, you can get connected to like-minded individuals who are also very serious about learning AI agents and how to build automations and great workflows for business and personal use. You can check out the school community. I'll put the link in the description. All right, let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to utilize actually n8n's docs on this. They actually have a really good hosting n8n on DigitalOcean guide that I'm going to put on the link of this video, and they kind of walk you through step by step, except a few things that I feel like they're missing and they could have done a better job of providing more details, but that's fine. I'm going to walk through step by step and go through that, but pretty much I'm going to follow their guidance, so that way you have a resource so you could take a look at and follow that as well. So let's go ahead. First thing we need to do is we need to create a droplet in DigitalOcean. So I'm going to head over to digitalocean.com, and they have several products, but we're going to utilize their droplet, which is basically a virtual machine. So if you click on product and a droplet, this will take you to that particular page where it'll give you all the different details. So if you're interested in checking out and finding out more details about what droplets are, how it works, what virtual machine is, please feel free to check that out. But I'm going to go ahead and click on sign up. So we'll walk through step by step on every single point of this, so that way you know exactly what to do. So I'm going to go ahead and utilize sign up with email, and I'm going to put in my email. So I'm just going to say AI Workshop email and password. Let's create a password. If you already have an account, feel free to skip this. Okay, so once you sign up for an account, this will bring you to kind of the whole process of checking for bots and all that stuff. But once that gets through, this will confirm your email address. Obviously you have to do that, so make sure you go ahead and go through your email and confirm that. Let me quickly do that. Right, all set. Okay, let's go ahead and answer some of these questions. What are you planning to build on DigitalOcean? Click on that. What is the role, the business type, whatever. I'm going to say 0 to 50. I work alone because it's going to be a personal account. How do you prefer to manage cloud resources? I'm just going to say cloud council. Okay, so I'm going to click on submit. Once you do that, go ahead and attach your credit card details. Okay, so once you add your credit card, it's going to take you to the registration complete. And again, the credit card is required because we're going to be utilizing a monthly subscription for our droplet, and I'll talk to that about that in a little bit. Okay, so then after that, it's going to provide you this kind of jump into some more popular solution. They've got all sorts of solutions for now, but I'm just going to say explore our control panel. So I'm just going to jump there and kind of walk through step by step on what to do there. Okay, so once you do that, you're brought into your projects page. So this is going to be like the default page. So what we need to do is, you don't need to worry about the project. Just go on the top right here and then click on create, and we're going to create cloud servers, and which is they refer to as droplets. So we're going to click on droplets. You're going to choose your region depending on where you are. You can choose, like, whatever is section or whatever city or whatever region is closest to you. I'm in San Francisco, so I'm just going to click on San Francisco here. And this is going to show you the data centers. It doesn't matter which data centers, that's fine. Okay, so on the bottom, for the operating system, instead of choosing these different operating center systems, I'm actually going to utilize the marketplace because we're going to use Docker. So it's a pre-built package. So I'm just going to search for Docker. Okay, and it's one of the, that says developer tools. The first one shows up. You're going to click on that. And it says Docker latest on Ubuntu 22.04. All right, perfect. So now we're going to scroll down and select our droplet type. So you can have a dedicated CPU. You can choose different options here that you have based on whatever use case you have. And based on your selection, your price is going to increase. So if you want to have dedicated CPUs, then there's different, it could get pretty expensive. You know, again, obviously if you're just using it for yourself, you don't really need to go into these dedicated CPUs. But for us, like the basic plan is going to work fine. So on the CPU options, just select the premium AMD. I feel like that's the best option to go. I know the difference is only like $1 between the SSD and then the premium AMD. So I would just prefer to go with this route and go ahead and select your $7, which is the first option. And again, this provides you 1 GB of CPU, and then 25 GB of SSDs and 1,000 GB of transfer, which is plenty for, you know, if you're using n8n for your purpose. And the great thing about DigitalOcean is that you can always update this based on whatever use case you have. So it's very scalable. That's kind of a great thing about DigitalOcean, that, you know, as your use case becomes more advanced, as you develop more things, and if you need more space or if you need more CPU, then you can just come in here and change your plan or upgrade your plan. And they have a ton of different options. I mean, it depends on exactly what, I mean, it goes all the way up to 32 GB of AMD CPU, which is crazy. But anyways, so for now, I'm just going to choose the $7 a month. That should be plenty. Okay, so if you need additional volume, you can add that there as well. For backups, this is always, you know, again, depending on your use cases, I would suggest kind of going with the daily backups if you're utilizing for your customers, or if you're building like really automations that are dedicated to your customers. It's always a good habit to have, and it's not that expensive. It's like additional $2 a month for daily, and then $1.40 a month for weekly. So that's always a good thing to have as a additional option, but we're not going to go with that for now. For the authentication method, again, this is if you're familiar with SSH key, like if you're technical and you're in the coding world, you would understand this. But if you're non-technical, you should be fine. Just use the password option here to connect your droplet. So I'm just going to go ahead and select the password option, and we're going to create a root password. So go ahead and type in your password. Okay, that looks good. All right, so that's good. And then for additional improved metrics monitoring, I don't need to add that. All right, so for the host name, this is important. You want to be able to put a name here that you're going to remember, because obviously for default, it's going to have some random number there. So for this, I'm just going to write n8n-test, right? Just very, very simple. The quantity is going to be 1 droplet. Okay, and then tags, don't worry about it for now. Projects, we'll leave it as our first project, and we're pretty much done at this point. So we're going to be charged $7 a month, and we're going to click on create droplet. Nope, I'm good. So this is going to go ahead and create your droplet. Okay, perfect. So that's done. Now, as you can see, you can always click on this to expand it. It'll show you kind of the Docker image, the name, the region, your IP address, and your obviously the size of this droplet being the 1 GB to 24 GB on disk, with the pricing that you have as $7 a month. Okay, great. So now here's what we need to do. We need to actually have a domain, because the next step is going to require us to basically connect a subdomain to our main domain, where then we can utilize and basically host this n8n test droplet on the cloud server, right? But in order to do that, we need to have a domain. You can go ahead and buy a domain if you don't already have one. So I'm just going to go ahead and walk you through step by step there. So I'm just going to use Namecheap. Namecheap is a domain where you can buy like lots of domains for cheap. You can utilize GoDaddy or whatever you want. So I'm just going to go ahead and write AI workshop and buy something just like really cheap. I already earlier went ahead and saw what were the different options available. There's this one, AI workshop done online. That's only like $4 a year. So I'm just going to take that, but you can choose whatever you want, right? This is just for you to be able to utilize n8n on a cloud hosted platform. So again, this is just part of the requirement. But the good thing is once you do this, you're pretty much done. You're not going to pay for anything else afterwards, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and click on checkout once you select your domain. Keep it as year, that's good to go. And I'm just going to click on confirm order. So if you don't already have a password or an account, it's going to have you create an account. So go ahead and do that. I'm going to say workshop. Okay, so once you provide all your payment information, your address and all that good stuff, go ahead and click continue. Again, if you've already gotten, or if you already have a domain, then you don't have to worry about this. You can just go ahead and skip all of it. But I'm going to go ahead and confirm everything. Everything looks good. And I'm going to click on pay now. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get back to the rest of our setup. So the next thing is to set up a DNS, because we need to point this domain in our subdomain that we'll create to this droplet that we created in DigitalOcean, right? So for DNS, actually Cloudflare provides a really good service, and it's free. So I'm just going to go ahead and utilize that. So go ahead to Cloudflare and you can just search for Cloudflare free DNS, and you can go ahead and sign up for a free account here. Provide my email here. Good to go. Sign up and click on sign up there. Now you're going to put in your domain that you just created or bought. Workshop.online. That's the one that I bought. Click on continue. Okay, great. I don't have to worry about these at this point because we're just going to utilize this DNS service that they already provide for free. Okay, so now that we have this set up, we need to create a record. But before that, just want to quickly point out, if you go back to this documentation, they actually point out how to set up this DNS. If I scroll down in the bottom, there you go. It says setup DNS. If you want to have more information of how DNS works and all the terminology and the components and the concept, you can actually click on this link, and this will take you to DigitalOcean's kind of tutorial that gives you all these intros and what domain terminology is and all that good information. So if you're new to all this, please feel free to go ahead and check that out because it provides really great guidance on how everything works. But anyway, we need to create a new record, and it needs to be a new A record for that n8n subdomain that we need to connect to our DigitalOcean. So what we need to do is head over to our Cloudflare, and again, make sure you're on your DNS and records. You're going to come here on the right hand side and add a record. So once you click on this, the first thing you're going to see, it says type A, right? And so this name that you provide here, as you can see on the top, it says the name points to the IP4 address required that has its traffic proxy through Cloudflare. So we need to provide a name, and this IP address, we're going to grab it from our DigitalOcean. So I'm going to go ahead and for the name, I'm just going to put 8. And as you can see, it says n8n.aiworkshop.online, right? And this domain now, or this subdomain, is going to now point to our IP address, which we're going to grab from our DigitalOcean droplet that we created, right? And the IP address, as you can see, IPv4. And on the DNS, it also says IPv4 because we want to make sure that it's the correct type of IP address. So all you have to do is just click on copy here, go back here and paste this. All right, great. So now on the top, it says n8n.aiworkshop.online points to this IP address. Okay, now that's done. Make sure you turn this off because we only need DNS. DNS only because our SSL is going to be provided by our hosting domain. All right, so that's good to go. You're going to leave this on as auto, and we're going to click on save. So now we have this record that is saved. Perfect. Okay, so now we can get back to our droplet here. Click on it. Okay, so we'll get rid of this now. This droplet, okay, so I've been updated, droplet console with better performance. Great. Okay, perfect. So now let's go ahead. We're going to click on console here because we need to follow the next, the guidance of n8n that provides here. And the rest of the guidance is pretty great. So I'm just going to basically copy and paste and follow their guidance step by step. So that way you don't get lost. So we need to go ahead and log into our, or utilize the console here because we're going to provide and do all of the command line interface through DigitalOcean's console. So all you have to do is when you're here, you're going to click on this console, and this will open up this new console. It says waiting for our console. It will register your SSH key, create the droplet, and it's going to get connected, and it's going to show you this welcome sign. And again, this is exactly like a Mac terminal or any kind of terminal that you've used before. So feel free to go ahead and read this information that they provide. It says welcome to Ubuntu because it's using Ubuntu, and it provides you a few updates that got applied, that some information regarding DigitalOcean's one-click Docker template. So all that good stuff is here. But again, we're just going to follow n8n's guidelines from now on, kind of side by side, so that way all we have to do is just kind of copy and paste the code that they already provide. Okay, so let me move this on the side here so that way we have a good side-by-side view. Grab this. this here and here. Okay, great. Okay, so let's go ahead and follow these. So we already did all of that. So we already logged in as root, and now let's go ahead and create a new user, because you don't want to work as a root user here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say add. You can literally just copy this, to be honest. Copy username, paste, just getting the username to, let's say AI workshop. Oh my god, I can't type. Okay, add user AI workshop. Okay, you gotta press enter. So now it's gonna add a user, and you go ahead and put a password. So this is not gonna show, obviously, but make sure you're putting your password. Press enter, retype password. Okay, done. All right, so the rest, you can put the rest of the information here, or you can just press enter and you can move forward, but I might as well. I'm just gonna put AI workshop, enter, room number doesn't matter, work phone doesn't matter, home phone, boom. Is the information correct? Yes, done. All right, great. So let's go ahead now, add this user, give this user administrative privileges. So I'm just gonna copy that and literally replace this with the username I created earlier. So I'm just gonna say AI workshop. Make sure you're spelling everything correct. Press enter, done. Okay, so now let's go ahead and log in. So I'm just gonna type login space AI workshop. Press enter. It's going to require my password, so go ahead and type in your password. Perfect. Okay, so now we're logged in and we're a super user because we gave this user that we created administrative rights, so where we can basically do anything to our server. So I'm going to go ahead and clear the rest of this, so that way you can see this clear. All right, let me zoom in a little bit. Perfect. There you go, that's better. I should have done this a little bit ago, but that's fine. Okay, so we're pretty much done with that. Let's go ahead and now follow the next step. So now we need to clone this repository from GitHub. Now you have to just come here, click to copy and paste, enter. So now it's gonna clone that n8n docker caddy, and we're good to go there. It looks like everything got cloned. Now let's go ahead and cd into that directory that we just created. Same thing, just copy, paste. Yep, we're in this folder. Okay, great. So this just says that this the host will copy these two folders created to Docker containers to make them available to Docker. Again, if you don't have Docker installed, make sure you have Docker installed, because otherwise this is not going to work properly, because the rest of the code is done through Docker, because we're going to create Docker volumes. Okay, so make sure you have Docker installed and come back to this if you haven't, but if you already have Docker installed on your computer, then you should be fine. So then as this just kind of shows you the folders and files that are inside this directory there, but that's fine, we don't have to worry about that. So the next step is we literally just need to copy this and paste it here, because we need to create this caddy data volume, and all you have to do is just copy and paste that. It's going to ask you to provide your password. Provide your password. Okay, that's good to go. Let's go ahead and do this one too. Paste. Done. Okay, great. So now let's go ahead and open our ports. It says n8n runs as web application, so the droplet needs to allow the incoming access to traffic on port 80 for non-secure traffic and port 443 for secure traffic. So you're gonna make sure that you open these ports in the Droplets firewall by running these two commands. So that's important, because you want to be able to make sure you give access to that. So you're just gonna copy this first one, come here. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I'm just gonna do it one at a time, in case I run into any issues. We'll add it. Perfect. So now let's go ahead and do the other one. Nice. Boom. Okay, great. So both of those ports got added. Okay, so the next step is to configure the n8n. So it says n8n needs some environment variables to set to pass the application running in the Docker container. So for example, .env files contains placeholders you need to replace with values of your own. So therefore, we need to change some of these values. Therefore, all we have to do is copy this, paste it, and it's going to guide us for the rest of the steps to change some of these values. So I'm going to press enter. As soon as you do, it's going to bring you to these different sections that you need to replace a few of these values to make sure it's pointing out to your particular domain. Okay, so let's go ahead and update the directory path here. So I'm just going to go, whoops. So it was inside home, AI workshop, /n8n-docker-caddy, right? Okay, so that's good. And then we're gonna come down and change our domain name. Our domain name, mine was AI workshop.online. Make sure you put whatever domain name you have created. Our subdomain is gonna be n8n, and let me just double check on the DNS. That's what we did, right? Because our subdomain, yep, this is the name. We just named it n8n, so that should be good to go. Okay, so for the time zone, make sure you're changing the time zone. I'm not in Europe, in Berlin, so I'm just gonna do America, Los Angeles. I think that's my time zone. Los Angeles. All right, perfect. Okay, so for SSL email, I'm just gonna copy and paste my email. Oops, deleted that. Okay, so we're pretty much done. So now let's go ahead and write this file out. In the bottom, if you see right here, it says write out, and the command for that is Control-O, for Mac at least. I'm not sure what it is for, but you'll see that in the bottom here. So I'm just gonna press Control-O, and at the bottom it says file name to write.env. Yep, and I'm just gonna press enter. Wrote 18 lines. Perfect. So now all I gotta do is Control X to exit, and we're done. Awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what's next here. Okay, so the next step is to do the nano docker compose YML, and you can read that the docker compose file YML defines the services that application needs. In this case, the caddy and also the n8n. So let's go ahead and copy that and paste it, enter. Perfect, all of the files were copied. So we don't need to make any changes here. All we need to do is press Control X, get out of that. Okay, so now the next step is to configure the caddy. Caddy needs to know which domain it should serve and which port to expose to outside world. Edit the caddy file in the caddy config folder. So the first thing we need to do is copy this, paste, boom. All right. Okay, so for this one, we need to change this first. It says n8n.domain.suffix. Yeah, I think mine was just, let's get rid of this. n8n.ai workshop.online. Yeah, make sure you're putting your proper subdomain here, which will be again n8n dot your domain. Reverse proxy n8n 5678, that's going to be the port. We're good to go. We don't make any more changes. So I'm just going to write this out again. So it's going to be Control-O again, Control-O, file name, write caddy file. Yep, press enter, wrote 5 lines. Perfect. Let's go Control X now. Get out of this. Great. What's the next step? So now that's done. That's done. If you were to use automate.example, your caddy file may look something like this. Yep. Okay. Okay, and then the last command is to just copy this, so that way we can get it started. So I'm just gonna copy, paste, and password. Okay, boom, enter, and it's gonna go ahead and run that Docker compose file for us. All right, perfect. So it looks like everything is working. The caddy got pulled, n8n got pulled. So now everything will get extracted and pulled, and we should be good to go. That is, of course, if we don't get any errors. Hopefully we won't get any errors, but it looks like everything is working. All right, perfect. Everything looks good. Container n8n docker caddy got started. Docker caddy 1 got started, and n8n got started. Perfect. Okay, so let's go back to our domain now. So the way to connect this subdomain now, this record, to our domain that we bought on Namecheap is you have to actually point the Cloudflare name servers right here. And there's two of them. There's one, the NS stands for name servers. And it says every DNS zone on Cloudflare is assigned to a set of Cloudflare branded name servers. So the value here, we need to actually connect this to our domain. And the way we do that is we go back to our Namecheap. From if you're on the dashboard, you're just gonna come in here and click on domain list, or you can just come and click on the manage here. And this will take you to the active domains that you have. And for us, obviously, we just bought this. So that's why we only have this one. But if you have multiple domains, it will show right here. So the way to connect our DNS subdomain, this record that we created here, to our domain that we bought is you're going to come to name servers. And right now it says Namecheap basic DNS. So in order to connect our name server's DNS record to our Cloudflare, we need to click on this. And this will have a drop down where now you can choose a custom DNS. So once you click on a custom DNS, it will pop up this name server 1 and 2. And this is where we need to go back to our DNS record on Cloudflare. And you'll basically copy and paste these two back to your domain here. So you're going to paste here, go back, do the same thing, bring it back, and done. So all you have to do is now save. And this will now point this. And as you can see, got updated, the redirect domains, redirect email, all of that got updated, meaning that now this, our domain, main domain, which is my AI workshop.online, is now pointing to name servers on our DNS record that we created on our Cloudflare. So this is going to take a while for this to propagate because we're using a middleman. In our case is a Cloudflare. So now Namecheap or whatever domain provider you bought your domain from is going to basically point or propagate across the internet the different servers that are available to the record that we created on our Cloudflare. However, if you want to do this quickly just for yourself to test this out to make sure that your n8n subdomain got properly hosted on your DigitalOcean, you can actually just create a name server on your own domain provider, in our case, the Namecheap. So let's say if you bought your domain, all you have to do is you're going to come back, go back to your Namecheap basic DNS. You're going to click on this check mark. See, now everything got updated again. So now you're going to go to advanced DNS. Okay. And from here, as you can see right here, it's showing you the type, the host, the value, TTL. This is where you'll create a new record, just like we did on our Cloudflare DNS, right? So on the bottom, as you can see right here, it says add new record. You're going to click on that. And it's going to ask you to select what type of record you want to create. And I'm going to select a record. On the host, this is where you'll just put, this is the subdomain basically. So in our case, this will be just n8n. The IP address, same thing. You'll go back to your, let's see what, yep, right there, right? And you'll just copy the IP address from here and go back to your DNS record here on Namecheap. And I'm just going to paste. You're going to leave this as automatic and you're just going to click on save changes. And once you do this, now this record got added to your domain provider. And this is going to be obviously the fastest way for you to see, meaning after a few minutes, this should propagate quickly on the internet, and therefore you'll have access to the subdomain by going to n8n.aiworkshop.online in my case, right? So that's the quickest way to do this. But in my opinion, the best thing is still to utilize the DNS record on the Cloudflare, just because they provide a great security layer and they're the most popular product, in my opinion, out in the market that people utilize as kind of like a middleman. Okay, so once you do this, now you're going to go ahead and wait a few minutes till this gets propagated in the internet, and then we'll be able to have access to our local setup hosted on our droplet by just visiting n8n.aiworkshop.online. So I'm going to go ahead and wait for a few minutes and then come back. All right, great. So it literally took about 7 minutes for this to get propagated across the internet. And the way to check that is actually you'll go to a website called whatsmydns.net. So whatsmydns.net, and then you'll put your subdomain, which is again n8n dot for me AI workshop dot online. Yours is going to be n8n dot whatever domain you bought or whatever domain you have, and the type you're going to select as A, and all you have to do is click on search. And once you do that, it will kind of show you exactly, as long as you have a few of these green marks, you'll be good to go, so you can start testing it. But like the longer you wait, the more you will have these green marks. I still have a few X's, but it's fine because a lot of it's already gotten propagated. So if you do this with Cloudflare for the first, because it takes a long time, honestly. Like when I had done previously for another website, sometimes it takes anywhere from 48 hours to like 72 hours or even longer. So, but obviously I'm always gonna utilize that because in the long term, the safety and the value that Cloudflare provides is way better than the domain provider. So that's why I kind of always go that route. So I'm gonna, after this video, I'm gonna switch back to, I'm gonna basically turn off the A record from here, and I'm gonna switch and utilize this n8n subdomain on my Cloudflare. But again, like I said, that's going to take a while. So that's why I was like, I just want to show you that this is actually working. And then I will leave that whenever it gets propagated. All right, so now let's go ahead and pull this up. Let me show you exactly what this is going to look like. I'm just going to actually do a new incognito window from my Chrome, because sometimes the DNS cache in Chrome has issues that you might run into. So just do that to test it out. And then later on, you can always utilize normal Chrome window. All right, cool. So let me go ahead and type now n8n.ai workshop.online. So now this should take me to my sign up page on my n8n. And perfect. There you go. So now we can go ahead, and as you can see, I didn't actually move forward. I just quickly tested it to make sure that this takes me here earlier. But I didn't sign up for anything, but we can go ahead and sign up for our account now, and we can create our own local n8n hosted on DigitalOcean, where then you can have access to this from anywhere you want just by going to n8n.ai workshop.online. And this will always work as long as your droplet in DigitalOcean is active. The only way for this not to work is if your droplet is shut down either purposely by yourself, or if you don't pay, obviously, they will shut it down for you. But again, the great thing about this is now you literally have a free cloud n8n, but locally hosted. I don't know if that makes sense, but you know what I mean. It now for like $7 a month, you can have access to your account from anywhere you want, right? So once you sign up for this account, then you'll be able to log in from anywhere by going to n8n.yourdomain.com or your domain, and you'll have access to this and your existing workflows. So let me go ahead and sign up for my account. I'm going to type in my my email, workshop, and do a password. Click on next, optimize your n8n. Great. All right. I'm just going to click on get started. There you go. Perfect. So now you have your brand new account hosted on n8n.ai workshop.online. This shows you exactly that now you can have access to the full suite of n8n's integrations and everything, and basically build out your automation locally hosted on a cloud server where you will have access to it from anywhere you want, right? And you can always update it by the console, by shutting down your Docker, and then update by pulling the latest version of n8n from a command line. You could do this from your own terminal by logging in through SSH, or you can go to your droplet from DigitalOcean and use that console to update the n8n, and everything will be good to go. All right, perfect. Well, hopefully you found this helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. I mean, I know I'm not going to be able to get to all the questions on the YouTube, but in my school community, I will provide answers to every single question you have. If not me, somebody from my team or a community member will. So make sure that you're following this tutorial. And if you have any questions, post it there. I'll try to get to your questions on the YouTube video if you post, but in the school community, obviously, I'm going to get to those first. And I'm planning to also do a call on this, so that way I can answer your questions live on that call. Again, depending on interest. So I'll make sure to put that through on my school community and make that announcement. But other than that, feel free to check this out. Let me know if my claim that I made in the beginning of this video, that this was the best tutorial, the most comprehensive tutorial, because again, I tried to look for a tutorial, a step-by-step tutorial on this, how to do this. There were a couple of tutorials, but they were not as comprehensive as step-by-step, where you would go and actually create a domain and then connect everything together, because a lot of the tutorials actually talk about the existing domain that they already have and they connect to DigitalOcean. And I feel like that's kind of difficult if you're new or if you don't have an existing domain. That's why I created this, to make sure that I provide a comprehensive guide from start to finish. Please make sure you like and subscribe for more upcoming great tutorials. And obviously you can come join our school community, where if you want to have more access to like-minded individuals who are serious about building AI agents and automations and learning great tools like n8n, and then hopefully more upcoming great tools that might come into market that we'll tackle together. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.